Hello, Angie Talks family. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night in some places, wherever you may find yourself. This is your girl, Angelina, Ange for short. I am your 21st century virtual nurse. Call me 21st century virtual nurse and let me calmly respond, hello. How are you doing? I hope everybody is doing great. Let's talk about the impact of technology on education. So, more than ever, technology is central to education. The abundance of technological tools for the classroom have grown exponentially in recent years as educators navigate remote, hybrid, and blended learning environment in the wake of a global pandemic. Technology in education, especially long distance education or remote education, has been there for years or decades, but now it's become more exponential, or it's really became increased during the pandemic when where all the schools were locked down and everybody was home, was compelled to do distant learning. So the use of technology in education has become very important. Technology in the classroom was on the rise long before it was required, and with good reason. Now that it's is seemingly ever present, we have more comprehensive view of how it affects and enhances learning environment, as well as the possibilities it holds as technology advances. But the question remains, how important is technology to the field of education in the long term? So let's dive into some of the ways in which it impacts the present and its implications for future education. So the title of our discussion is The Importance of Technology on Education, an overview of the importance processes of technology in the teaching and learning process. So, the introduction is technology is a powerful tool that has changed the way teachers teach and the way students learn. Technology has given access to many different ways of communicating and working together. So, technology has given access to the way, or it's given a new meaning to the way we teach and communicate. So, the traditional learning process is physical learning materials and tools like pens and whiteboards. This limits access to educational materials and information, with the traditional way limits access to educational materials and information. But with technology, we don't need all this physical equipment per se. All you need is a good laptop or computer with access to data and a Zoom. Wider access technology learning process gives or afford wider access to educational materials, more channels and tools available for communication and collaboration, and it allows for personalized types of lessons for students. Students are able to have a wide variety of materials, and the learning becomes personalized. So with the help of technology, students are equipped to take an independent approach to their education in ways they previously could not do it. It gives them a broader range of materials and access to education, which wasn't the case before. Also, it allows teachers to be more flexible, help teachers, they are able, it allows them to be more flexible, and they connect more with students. So it's unlock access to more resources. The teacher, all they need to do is to sit behind their computers and send messages across to a bunch of students, rather than in the physical classroom, students coming to them one by one, and there is a time limit as to when to teach. So they don't have the time to respond to every student in the classroom most of the time. So how does technology advances students? Distance learning technologies are critical to education today and will likely remain important in the future as schools determine the best way to move forward. For instance, my children's school, they give you option, either you come to class one-to-one teaching, or you prefer the remote. So some parents have opted for the remote, but I prefer them to go to class and then do the remote if the need be. So we do the hybrid. So schools use or offer a combination of distance and face-to-face learning. And without distance learning, a lot of students will not be able to afford, especially in the secondary and university levels. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and he was telling me without distance education, he couldn't afford to go to university. Even buy personal stuff was very difficult financially. He couldn't have afforded. So, what's the benefits for students? It allows for a more personalized learning experience. You have a lot of time to plan your work, and then it becomes flexible. You are learning at your own pace in most cases. It improves student communication because you have to communicate back and forth with your professors or tutors and other students. When you are given assignments, the Zoom meetings and everything, you cannot avoid it. You have to be present. And then it helps students prepare for the future. The technology is the future. So when the earlier you get involved, the better it will shape your future endeavors in dealing with other people on the professional level. So, future of learning. Online classrooms mean digital learning for everybody. Global market for practical courses and certifications most of them are all online learning. I could be sitting in Ghana and taking a certification or even a degree course in Switzerland, Norway, Canada, US, or anywhere else. It's improved the quality of mixed learning. So you have the ability to learn physically and then remotely as well. Both physical and distance learning, the quality, it helps to increase the quality. So increasing demand for skills-based programs. Increasing demand for skills-based programs, people, you can be sitting in Ghana or Africa, anywhere else, and be employed abroad. So you could work from home. You just need the skills. If you have the skills with your technological skills, you could be working, living in on another, living somewhere and living on an in Ghana or Nigeria, anywhere else, and working abroad. It's very common. I know somebody who lives in Ireland, and his he works for a company in Kenya. Once in a while, he will travel to Kenya, but most of the time, he works from home. So it's also future of learning. It also helps greater investment in interactive technology to address the digital divide. So technology has really come to stay. Technological learning has come to stay. If you are a parent here, let your children get involved. Buy them, try to save if it's difficult financially, try to save and then give them access to technology. Let them have a feel of it because that's the future. You don't want your children to be left out in the technological world. After the COVID, things are not going to go back to the way it was. It's another we are living in a new world. Things have changed, whether you would agree or not. So let's also change our mindset about how we used to deem education or we used to regard education before then. So, as digital tools continue to advance exponentially in educational technology, the future holds a multitude of possibilities that could change the lives of students all around the world. So, there was the World Economic Forum projects that the education market will expand to $342 billion by 2025. So technology, educational technology isn't going anywhere now. It has come to stay, like I said. Technology helps break down many global barriers, allowing students to interact with each other regardless of location or attend schools on an entirely different continent. Just like I said, you could be sitting in Africa and working in for a company in Australia. So tapping into technology's global potential could continue to cultivate more diverse and culturally aware learning environments, ultimately enriching students' lives and granting more opportunities. So you don't want your children to be left out. Let them be involved, move with the trend so that if there's any opportunity, it won't bypass them. They will have they will be prepared to jump in into the opportunity. So technology, when used well, is a sustainable tool to enrich the lives of both students and teachers, optimizing the learning experience in its entirety. So let me leave you here by saying let's get our children involved in technology so they won't be left out. There are a lot of opportunities when you abreast yourself, you when your children or even us, we shouldn't also be left out. We should get in learn about technology and at least be a bit knowledgeable with it, but our children need to be engulfed in the technology. It will open a lot of avenues and opportunities for them. Remember, the page name is Angie Talks on Facebook and Angie Talks One TV. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye, Angie Talks family.